So, hey everyone, my name is Jitish Srivastava. I am a blockchain instructor and I'm teaching blockchain since 2021. So, if you are familiar with the term code eater, so yes, this is me who is teaching. I have a YouTube channel where I'm teaching blockchain since 2021 and I have provided corporate training to companies like Visa. And in today's session, what I'm going to talk about is various things about blockchain. Like, first of all, let's start with the PPT, right? The PPT is the most important thing. Let's share my screen and let me share the PPT with you guys. Okay, so let's talk about the contents that we are going to discuss in today's session so that we can understand like why I know like every one of you who is joining with me, most of you like might be a blockchain developer or who are thinking of becoming a blockchain developer or who are just want to know like who just want to know like what is this blockchain all about, what is this craze all about, and whether blockchain will survive in the future or not, right? So we will start with a very simple discussion like why should we study blockchain? Then we will talk about what is blockchain and how blockchain is actually formed. Then we will see one of the most important application of blockchain, that is Bitcoin. And I know many of you might have heard about this term Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, right? So many things are going on in the cryptocurrency market. And every time we associate blockchain with cryptocurrency. So we will talk about Bitcoin, why it is so special. Then we will talk about the blockchain developer roadmap. And I'm thinking that if you are thinking to become a blockchain developer or if you are thinking, okay, whether I should go for blockchain or not, and I think that if I will be able to convince you during these three lectures that, okay, why you should opt for blockchain and why blockchain is important for us. Okay. And then after that, we will have a roadmap of becoming a blockchain developer where I will provide you a step-by-step clear process of how to become a blockchain developer. Now, I will be talking about some scams. I'm not going to talk about crypto scams here. I'm going to talk about scams that are actually happening in the blockchain field. So I will be talking about that because I think many of you might be thinking to start your blockchain journey. So it is very important to talk about this particular scam. And then I will be taking questions. Definitely, I will be taking questions throughout the presentation as well. There will be a slide where you can ask your question. Like I will be covering a particular topic, then you can ask your question. I will be covering a particular topic, you again can ask your question. So I will not be speaking always and always like blah, 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 blah. Definitely, you will have your own chances where you can ask me, okay, I did not understand it, and I will definitely try to make you explain that particular topic. And at the end of the day, if we will have time, then definitely I will give you like definitely you can ask your questions and definitely I will be answering those questions as well. Now let's start with the discussion part that why do we need blockchain, right? Because definitely salary is one thing, innovation is another thing. Like we have this, okay, we will be able to pitch like as everyone was discussing here as well, like you will be getting this opportunity to have this funding and you will be able to get a good job in blockchain and everything is good. I know that's one of the reason, but let us understand the fundamentals, let us understand the real meaning of blockchain, like why do we need blockchain and why blockchain will survive like for a longer time here. So it's all started because of internet. Let's start with the journey of internet. Okay, how internet came into picture. So in the starting, we started with communication with pigeons, right? We started with, okay, pigeon will go. Like if you have watched a Harry Potter movie, there were owls that they were being used in order to communicate with each other, right? In a Harry Potter movie. And then we started with post boxes, right? That, okay, definitely pigeon are slow, right? We cannot rely on them. So we started with post offices, we started with letters, we started writing letters to our friends, to our relatives. And again, it was a slow process, right? And now if we talk about today, right? Today, what we are doing is today we are using internet. We are using the power of internet because of which now we can communicate with thousands and lakhs of people. Like I'm communicating with you right now because of internet only. And Facebook is one of those examples where I can go live and I can talk to thousands of people. I can do a social media post on Twitter, LinkedIn, wherever I want, and I can again communicate with lakhs and thousands of people. And now we have email, right? Again, earlier time, if you talk about earlier time, it was like, okay, you have to wait for someone, okay, when they will receive the letters. All those time was like there was this time gap, right? But now with email, it's just in a second, right? Once you have your email ready, you can just click on that send button and now your friend might have received the mail. So you can see that the communication part is very, very, very well maintained by internet, right? So now because of internet, we are able to communicate with so many people at this particular time, and it's a very good thing. It's a beautiful technology. But the problem in internet is that it is lacking in one thing. And that particular one thing is trust. The problem with internet is that we cannot trust the internet. For example, let's say you want to buy something, right? So you go to one of the popular websites like Amazon or Flipkart. So you go to these type of websites only whenever you want to buy something. You never go for any website that you might see on website, like on your Google search, right? Even though they are providing you 50% discount, then also you choose Amazon or Flipkart. Why? Because you trust these brands, you trust these companies, right? So you cannot rely on internet search results. You need some trustworthy brand to buy something, right? In the same way, let's say, for example, you want to donate some money to this NGO. We see so many ads on YouTube, right? That you should donate some money to us and we will be taking care of this child, or let's say for women education, we need some funding and we want you to contribute. But the problem in this approach is that whenever you are doing any kind of donation, let's say, you do not actually know where your money is actually going, right? You definitely know that, okay, you are transferring this money to this NGO's bank account, but you do not know what they are doing with your money, right? And that's the reason many of us do not try to donate anything, right? Because we think, okay, we do not know what they are going to do with our money, whether they are going to use the money in actuality for the child education, for women education, or they are going to use this money for some terrorist attack, or let's say for some bad practices. We do not know. And that's the problem with internet. We cannot trust the internet because internet, or let's say the system that is built around internet, is not transparent. And another problem with internet is that in internet everything is very closed in nature, right? Like everything is centralized in nature, even though internet was not built in the like having this particular thought in mind that they are going to build it in a centralized way. But today these companies are today dominating the internet, right? Whenever you have to do any kind of post, you go to either Instagram, WhatsApp, or let's say Facebook, right? For buying or selling, you go to Amazon, or for searching, you go for Google. Very few of the people choose some alternative of these companies, right? So it is for sure that these companies are ruling the internet, right? And this is a problematic thing. But now you must be thinking, okay, who cares, right? Who cares? If they are ruling the internet, it's good, right? Let them rule. What's the problem in it? It's good, right? If, for example, they are providing us with some convenience, and for that convenience, they are asking us for some privacy details, what's wrong in it? Let's share the data with them, right? I'm not going to share my bank data there, but let's say I want to share my name with them, or let's say I want to share my street address with them, or let's say I want to share my photos with them. What's the problem in it? They are just like they are providing me everything for free of cost, and they are like providing me with this convenience, right? And for that they are just asking me some little amount of data. So Chitesh, I think the point that you are making, that internet is so bad that you are trying to tell here, I think that's not the case. It's good, right? This little bit of privacy, it's okay, I can compromise with it, right? I can compromise with it. See, if these companies, for example, or any centralized companies will be using this data, let's say for example, just to pursue you to buy or sell something, it's good, I have no problem in it. Let's say for example, you are talking to your friend, like you might have seen so many examples of this, right? You are talking to your friend, okay, I am thinking to buy this iPhone, and in just some seconds you are seeing ads from iPhone, right? That everywhere iPhone in your phone, right? Now if they are using the data for this kind of purposes, just to target you as a customer, that's not a problem. Or actually it is a problem, but let's say this is a very micro level problem, right? And you are absolutely correct, that's not a problem. In if we talk about in real sense, they are just asking us to buy something. But what if I will say that the problem starts that if the if these companies with the power of internet, like they can actually start a war. If I say that because of this there can be civil wars, and if I say what if they can change the perception of people during the election days, like they can influence the election result of a country, and this is dangerous, this is very dangerous. Just imagine, for example, I live in India. For example, some country ABC thought, okay, I think to get most benefit from India, I think this party XYZ should be elected. And what I started doing as a country, ABC, I started pursuing the people of India, and I started making sure that the citizens of India vote for ABC party. Now, this is a dangerous level thing. We are playing a very dangerous game here. And this is not just my imagination, let me tell you. This is not something imaginative that I'm telling you here. This is what actually has happened in 2016 elections, US 2016 election, where Donald Trump was elected as the president of USA. And how he was able to do that? He was able to do that because of the greatest hack of all the time. And the greatest hack, like in this greatest hack, who was involved? Your favorite company, Facebook. Another company, that is Cambridge Analytica. Now, these two companies used your data, okay? They used your data without your permission, and they manipulated the US citizen in order to vote for Donald Trump. This is truth. Like, you can see that. How Trump consultants exploited the Facebook data of millions. Now, how much, what do you think? How much millions of users actually got affected by this? How much millions of users data was leaked actually? 1 million, 2 million, 10 million, 20 million, 30 million. Okay, what is the number? The number is 50 million people. Data was used without their permission so that they can be influenced to vote for a particular party. And this is a scary thing, as I said, right? This can lead to wars. This can lead to civil wars. It can lead to, like, whatever you can think. It can do that on that particular scale. And that's why this thing that you're seeing on your screen, you cannot take it lightly by saying that, okay, if it is just my privacy, I'm just giving my privacy to them. What's a big deal in it? There is a big deal, because now you are not only giving your data, you are actually giving the power of your decision making to these people, because now these people will pursue you to do a certain thing and you will not have knowledge about it. And this is the scary situation that we have currently. And for that, definitely you can watch this great documentary on Netflix, The Great Hack, where they have talked about this in a very much, I think this is a series kind of a thing. You can watch it and you can simply see the tagline. They took your data, then they took your control. And this is a scary situation, right? So if you think that everything is free of cost, no, this is not free of cost. You are actually paying this, right? Like, you are paying your free will as a cost here. You are paying it by the life of individuals. You are not realizing it, I know, but this is it. And you are actually being consumed in it as an expense. Like, you are the expense here. If you think, no, this is not the truth, you can actually go to the internet and you can read about it. And you will see that how these companies can manipulate you. So that's why we need a technology which can prevent us from this data manipulation, which can actually stop these countries to manipulate us, to stop being a puppet to their hands. And for that, we need blockchain. Because blockchain is something that is going to provide you transparency. Blockchain is something that can assure that there is no central entity ruling over a particular area or a country or something like that. And that's why we need blockchain. So, like internet is a disruptive technology, and it actually brought a huge disruption in communication. Right now, communication is very easy with the help of internet, and that's true. And with blockchain, what we are going to get is, we are going to get trust. And that is the most important thing. Like, communication is one of the most fundamental human thing, right? That we need. We need communication. We need to interact with other humans. And second thing that we need is trust. And that is what blockchain is going to provide us with. And that's why I think we should go for blockchain, so that these billion-dollar companies, and yes, let me tell you one more thing. That's not the thing that, okay, blockchain is just providing you with this, making you free from this privacy thing, but also it is also going to help you in your career as well. It's not that, okay, you have to just do it for a good cause. No, you can earn a good amount of money from blockchain as well, because in this field now there is a lot of innovation going on. Like in web 2 we have these billion-dollar companies. Now it's your time to have your own billion-dollar companies, because now we have the time for innovation in blockchain. And for that we need people like you, so that you can become a blockchain developer and you can, I think, protect us from these centralized entity. Okay, so this is the reason why we need to study blockchain. Before moving further, let me see if we have any questions from this topic, and then I will talk about what is blockchain. Okay, so here is okay. Thank you so much, Paulav. I watched your entire blockchain playlist and got to learn about the basics of Bitcoin, blockchain, and cryptocurrencies. Thank you so much. Any question, guys, regarding this particular topic? Why blockchain? Okay, so I'm taking a little bit of time so that you can type if you have any questions. Otherwise, you will be moving further. Okay, so I'm moving further. I am hoping that you do not have any questions, and I'm hoping that I'm not boring you as well. So let's start with what is blockchain. Okay, there is one question, but if there will be a decentralized version of a company, then the apps like Facebook won't be free, right? Anshul, actually, there is a concept of decentralized identity. See, you have to understand. Currently, whatever we are doing on social media application, I'm not saying that you have to totally remove all these social media application. No, I'm not saying that. You do not need to actually make them paid as well. What you can do is you can use the concept of decentralized identity. Now this is also something which we can use. Now currently what actually is happening is you are sharing your data there, right? And not only you are sharing your data, but now these people can track you with the help of that data, right? Because they know you. Like, this is my name, Chitra Shrivastava. I'm using Facebook. This is my home location. This is my mobile number. This is my email address. So they know you, right? They know you from your data. So instead of providing with this all amount of data, what we can do is we can provide a decentralized identity. So with the help of this decentralized identity, we will be using these social media applications, right? For example, Facebook, but they will not be able to track us down. They will not be able to find out, okay, who is this particular person. So they will not be able to target you as well until or unless you want to. But if you want that, okay, they should target me on this particular, let's say, wallet address, they will be able to do that. But if you do not want them, they will not be able to. So now you will be having a choice whether you want to reveal your identity, whether you want to be tracked. Like currently they are tracking you each and every time. They are able to persuade you because they know you. But if they do not know you, how they are going to pursue you, right? So they will not be able to. So this is what we are going to do. Like, we have this so many things going on, like sign in with Ethereum, one of the application that currently is being developed. So we will be seeing all these type of technologies in the coming future. Okay. Okay, any other question, guys? Like, what do you mean by the project on blockchain technology? Like, what do you mean by a project on blockchain technology? Actually, I'm not getting this question. Not clear about this. Like, what do you mean by a project on blockchain technology? I think what you mean is like, what type of projects can we build on blockchain technology? If you're talking about that, we will be discussing that during the slides, like at the end of the video, about that. Currently, the question is not clear to me. Can you repeat the Netflix documentary name? The Great Hack. The Great Hack. Yes, the name of the documentary is The Great Hack. You can learn about this. Okay. Okay, so which language can we use? We will talk about that. I'm going to talk about which language you can use in the blockchain developer roadmap. So just don't worry. We will be talking about each and everything. Which language do you use? Which framework do you need to learn? Whether you need to learn web development or not. All these things I will be talking about in the roadmap part. Okay. Okay. So let's start with what is blockchain, and then again, after this slide, you can again have your questions. Now, what is blockchain? In layman terms, actually you cannot define blockchain, because blockchain is a very huge type of a thing. Like, you can have a whatever type of blockchain you want, but definitely, just to give you an idea what can be a blockchain, blockchain is actually a distributed immutable ledger. Okay, it is a distributed immutable ledger which is completely transparent. Okay, the definition definitely looks a little bit complicated. Let us understand this one by one by going from ledger to immutable, then distributed, and then we will understand transparent. Now, what is a ledger? So, in traditional world, you might have seen that most of the time companies, or let's say if you visit McDonald's or Pizza Hut, whenever you buy something from them, they write each and everything in their computer, right? They provide you with the bill, and they also tell you, okay, this is the amount you have to pay, this is the amount, this is the change that you get. Like each and every transaction is being recorded there, right? And where they are recording these transactions, they are recording these transactions either in their database, and if you will go to a old shop, then they will be recording all these transactions in their registers, right? So you will go to a shop and you will say, okay, I need a chocolate, and they will provide you with a chocolate, and then they will be writing something in their register. You might have seen that. I mean, if not, then it's okay. But database thing is pretty common, right? Whenever we visit any restaurant, whenever we visit any fast food kind of restaurant, then we see that they type everything on their computer. So what they are doing is they are actually recording all your transactions. So whatever payment you are doing to them, whatever change they are providing to you, everything is being recorded in these database. Okay, and this is what ledger is, where we are actually recording all the transactions. Now, when we talk about blockchain world, the blocks that we have in blockchain, that's why the term blockchain, right? So we have the different blocks in blockchain. We will talk about it. So these different blocks in blockchain are actually the ledgers where we are actually recording all the transactions. So let's say send some 5 Bitcoin to your friend. I know it's a costly thing to do, but still, let's say you are a very good friend of that particular person and you are trying to give him, let's say, 5 Bitcoin. So this particular transaction will be noted on the block of the blockchain, and that's why we say that this is a ledger. Okay, this is a ledger. Now the beautiful thing about this ledger is, and how this ledger is different from these ledger, is that this ledger is totally immutable. Immutable means that you cannot write anything on this block of the blockchain. You cannot write anything. Means when I'm saying write, what I'm trying to say, you cannot change anything on the blockchain. Sorry for that. You cannot change anything on the blockchain. So once there is a transaction that is done on the block of the blockchain, you cannot change it. But if we talk about these ledgers, you can change the transactions. Like for example, you can go to the database and you can change the entries. You can go to the register and you can just turn off some paper, or you can erase some of the things and you can change the entries. But in the block of the blockchain, you cannot do that. It is totally immutable. You cannot change anything once it is written on the block of the blockchain. And this is a beautiful thing, right? Now we can have a much more good history to tell to our, we can record the history part on the block of the blockchain, and this history will be tampered proof. No one will be able to change this history, and it will be a valid history then, right? Like, let's do not go to history, but for now, I hope I'm able to tell you this, that it is totally immutable. Now, why it is called distributed? So we have understood the meaning of two words, ledger, and second one is it is immutable. Now, why do we say that it is distributed? Now, this is your, let's say, blockchain network. Okay, this is your blockchain network where each computer is connected with each other, and each computer that you are seeing here is having the exact copy of the blockchain, like same copy of the blockchain. Okay. Now let's say a block is added at A, and how it is added, we will not go into depth of that because we do not have that much time. But for now, you can think of that A is adding this particular block. Okay, let's take as an example. Let's say A is adding this particular block in the blockchain. Now, once A will add this block in the blockchain, this information will be broadcasted to each and every one that is connected in this blockchain network. And these people will then verify and validate this block, whether the block added by A is actually a malicious block or is actually a good block. If it is a good block, then what they will do is they will add this block to their blockchain. So you can see that the block is actually getting distributed. The block from A is getting distributed to all the people who are the part of this blockchain network. So that's why we say that blockchain is distributed in nature. Now, if by chance the block added by A was a malicious block, in that particular case, everyone in the blockchain network will discard this block and no one will add this block. Okay. So that's why we say that blockchain is a distributed, immutable ledger. Now, why it is called transparent? It is called transparent because each and every transaction that we do on blockchain is public in nature. Like everyone can see your transaction on the blockchain. Now, this is a very worried situation for some people. You're like, okay, now they can see us, right? But let me tell you here that they are not able to see you because your identity is not linked in these transactions. What is actually linked is this: there is a wallet address that you get, okay? And that wallet address is just some alphanumeric key, okay? Some random numbers, and nobody can detect, okay, who is this person. Like whenever you do a banking transaction, in the banking transaction, each and every detail about you is linked in the transaction. That's why banks are so much in fear that they cannot, they cannot just like they have this closed system. They do not allow anyone to enter in this closed system because they are in fear that once anyone will be able to just breach this particular wall, they can see all the transaction, and not they are seeing only the transaction, but they are also able to see your identity there because everything is attached in the transaction when we do a banking transaction. But when we do a blockchain transaction, your identity is not linked in the transaction. So that's why it's not a problematic thing, because you are totally anonymous on the blockchain. Nobody can find out who is actually doing this particular transaction. And that's why it is transparent, because now everyone can see that, okay, there is a transfer, but no one will be able to see who is doing this transaction. So this is the beauty of blockchain. So distributed, I can give you one more example. Like if you can see that A is having this ledger and A is distributing this ledger to all over the place. That's why we are saying that it is distributed in nature. Okay. So now let's take some questions. If you have any questions, I will answer those questions. Okay. So any questions, anyone, about what is blockchain or anything?
So Ankan has been asking about the scalability issue. You
Uh,
can elaborate on
okay.
that.
Scalability, I think, okay. Okay, if you have this question about the scalability part, that okay, blockchain is not that much scalable. Like we cannot use blockchain everywhere, and that's true as well. But you have to understand that we are working on it, right? Currently, we have so many other things going on in the blockchain field. Like for example, ZK EVM is one of those things. For example, ZK proof is one of those things, with the help of which we are actually solving the problem of scalability. Like if you talk about Ethereum, it's a very slow blockchain, right? It takes a lot of amount of time. But if we talk about Polygon blockchain, which is actually a layer 2 solution, and not only that, they are not only, Polygon is not only providing you layer 2 solution, but now they are having this concept of ZK EVM. They have this Polygon ZK EVM. They have this ZK proof. I'm not going in depth of this for now. But now, if you will see the current industry, we are actually solving the problem of scalability. Now another problem, like how we are solving this in another way. We have, like if I talk about Bitcoin, so in Bitcoin we have this uh, lightning network. Like if you have seen, I don't know how many of you know about El Salvador. So one of the first country to adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender. So what they are doing is they are using Bitcoin in their regular day-to-day transaction. Now if I tell you that, okay, you have to do, if you have to use Bitcoin in your day-to-day transactions, you will be like, okay, I'm not going to do that because it takes so much time to do a transaction on Bitcoin. But in El Salvador, what they are doing is they are using the Bitcoin Lightning Network, and from with the help of this Bitcoin Lightning Network, they are able to do the transaction at a much more faster way. Like just you are doing a UPI payment in India, you can do the Bitcoin transaction in El Salvador using the Bitcoin Lightning Network app, and the Bitcoin transaction will be done. So definitely there is a scalability issue. Currently, we have this scalability issue, but still you have to find, like you have to understand this as well. Like we are doing an innovation, we are forming technologies, we are doing other things to solve this problem as well. Okay. Uh, Code Eater. Yes, Code Eater, my blockchain channel name, Shivangi. Can be used mobile phones. Yes, the Bitcoin, if you're talking about the transactions, yes, they are doing each and every transaction using mobile phones only. Actually, there is a very good small documentary of 10 to 14 minutes you can watch. I think it was on coin coin marketplace. No, not coin marketplace. I think there is a particular website. I'm forgetting these. Everyone starts this name with C, so I'm not able to remember it. But they have this beautiful documentary, 14 minutes, where they have shown El Salvador receiving each and every transaction in just like this. Okay, I missed the question. Can I? Okay. So how does blockchain ensure data security if it is distributed in nature? Okay. How blockchain is ensuring data security? So blockchain is actually ensuring this data security because of cryptography. So we are using heavily amount of cryptography there to ensure the security. Let me give you an example what we are actually doing. So let's see. See, the thing is, you need security, right? We talk about security, and we think security can be there when we have this closed system, right? We think that we are safe when we are totally closed. But I think the thing is totally opposite. The more you are outside, the more you are open, right? You are getting each and every day more secure. Like blockchain, if you talk about Bitcoin is totally open source. You can go and try to hack it. People are trying to hack it since 2008, and every time they are trying to hack it, it is becoming much more stronger. Okay, so because we have so many huge community supporting this Bitcoin, like with the cryptography and each and everything. And now let me show you the thing that I'm trying to say. Like, if everything is totally open, why we are so much secure, right? So this is Etherscan. This is one of the famous website where you can see all the Ethereum transactions. So let's say, for example, let me show you some transactions. So you can see this is the latest transactions. If I will click on this, so if you will see this particular thing right here, right? So you will clearly see that this particular person is doing a transaction to this particular person. But the problem is we do not know anything about this particular person. Now, since we are totally anonymous here, right? Nobody can actually find us. And first thing first, so now we are totally secure. Nobody can track us. Definitely, if you want to track anyone using their digital footprints, you can, but you cannot do it here. If you will see the list of all the transactions that this person is doing as also like in your screen. But again, you cannot find it that who is this person. So this is also one of the ways by providing you with this anonymity, and by using this cryptographical techniques, we are able to make this much more secure. We have this huge community. It is just like Windows versus Linux operating system. If you will talk about Windows operating system is not much secure as compared to Linux operating system, because in Linux operating system, everything is open. There is a huge community supporting Linux operating system, and that's why Linux is much more securer than your Windows operating system. The same kind of thing we are doing with blockchain as well. Okay. 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 So I can see some of those questions. Let us first of all focus on the slides so that we are not deviating from the point. And at the end of the particular slides, definitely you can ask all your general questions. Like I can see so many questions on AI with blockchain, metaverse with blockchain. I will be answering each of your questions just at the end of this particular uh, uh, webinar. Okay, because I do not want to deviate people from okay what is actually happening, right? So let's focus on slide after slide, and then at the end we will take all the questions. So now let us understand the block architecture, how actually a blockchain is formed. So this is how your block looks like. Okay, like I have shown you on Etherscan also. You have this block number. This data means all your transactions are here. Previous hash, and this is hash. Now what is this previous hash? I will talk about it. But for now, this hash that you are seeing, right? This hash is actually your fingerprint. Like not your fingerprint, actually the block fingerprints. It is like a unique identity given to this block. Okay, so this is a block number one, and this block number one has this unique identity. Like you have your name, right? In the same way, this particular block is having this unique identity, and this is represented by this hash. Okay, And how do we generate this hash? We generate this hash using SHA-256 algorithm. So whatever you are going to provide as an input, like say it can be a document, audio, video, to this SHA-256 algorithm, this SHA-256 algorithm will provide you with this 64 hexadecimal characters. And since one hexadecimal character is of 4 bits, okay, that's why we have 64 into 4, 256 bits, and that's why we call it SHA-256. But that's not important, just to tell you that. But you can see that anything that you are inputting in this SHA-256 is going to give you this 64 hexadecimal characters. Now, when we talk about a block in the blockchain, what we do is we provide all these three things. Naturally, there are much more things. I'm just taking these three things for example. So you provide all these three things to this SHA-256 algorithm, and then SHA-256 algorithm provide you with this particular hash. So you can see that we have this particular hash, and this hash is actually being generated using this SHA-256 algorithm. Okay, so now using this concept, right, using the concept of this, we can create a chain of blocks. So let's say this is your block number 1, and now let's say this is your block number 2. Now this block number 2 is able to identify this block number 1 using the hash of this block number 1. So you can see that this block is having this hash, right? And this block number 2 has this previous hash. And if you will see the previous, oh, not this previous hash, and if you will see the previous hash and the hash of this block are same. And that's how block number 2 is able to identify this block number 1. So this was the first block, and after this a new block is created, let's say block number 2. Now this block number 2 will be able to identify block number 1 using the hash of this block number 1. So you can see now we have this previous hash. In the same way, when there is a creation of block number 3, this block number 3, as you can clearly see, is able to point to block number 2 because of the hash that we have in block number 2, and we have the previous hash of block number 2 in block number 3. So that's why we have this chain of blocks forming the blockchain. I hope you are getting my point, right? Hash, previous hash, hash, and previous hash. That's why we have this long chain of blocks, okay? And this is how your blockchain is formed. So whenever there is a new block, this new block will have a previous hash. This previous hash will be equal to the hash of the previous block that we have, and then they will be able to identify. So it is like block number 2 is calling block number 1, block number 3 is calling block number 2, and a chain of block is formed, and this chain of block is actually called as blockchain. So I have shown you this blockchain, but let me show you this one more. So this is a block. As you can see, this is the latest blocks. I will click on this block, and you can see that we have all the information about this block. So we have the block height, this is the block number, then the timestamp, means at which time this block is created, and various things, other things are there also. But definitely for that, I will suggest you to watch Code Eater. In that I have explained all these things, but for now, this is good, okay? And this is how the chain of blocks is formed. And if you will see, this block is 525, and the next block that we have is 526. And if I will go to 525, you will see that we have this parent hash, right? So I'm talking about previous hash. So they have this parent hash. Parent hash means the block that I need to point to, okay? Okay, so do we have any questions regarding this particular formation of blocks? Will blockchain replace the transaction system future in India? So I will not say that it will replace it, but it will be an alternative. So many people, like currently, if you talk about the number of unbanked people in the world, we have around 1.4 billion of people who are totally unbanked. And these 1.4 billion people are unbanked because banking, like bank of the various countries, do not want to provide them with any service, okay? So now these people will have an alternative. Instead of going to the banks, now they can leverage the blockchain system. They can go for a Bitcoin wallet, they can go for an Ethereum wallet, and now they can buy Bitcoin or Ethereum, and now they can do the transactions using these wallets. So now for people, the transaction like which was difficult, now it will not be a difficult thing. And for people like us who do not trust our government or the banking system, they will also have an alternative now. And that's why you will see the most feared people are actually bank people and the government, because now they can see that we have this alternative, and we can now go for this alternative as well. Earlier we do not have any options, right? We were very much restricted, we were very much on the realms of these banks. Like, these banks can do whatever they want, they have this closed system there, they have this cartel around, and they can do whatever they want. But now we have this alternative to choose. So I think it will not replace, but definitely it will be an alternative for various people, especially in various countries where the situation is very bad. Okay. Okay. Any other question, guys, regarding this particular slide? How blockchain is formed? So, question is by Kailash that how can they buy Ethereum or any other cryptocurrency without a bank account? See, currently, if let's say, for example, that's a very valid question. Like, if I do not have a bank account, I'm going to buy a particular Ethereum. So I will not be buying it, right? Let's say I will be having my employer to pay me in terms of cryptocurrency. Now, if I will have a cryptocurrency, I do not need any fiat currency to buy cryptocurrency. I can simply go and exchange that cryptocurrency. For example, let's say I am a YouTuber, right? So I get so many deals, so many sponsorships, which I get in cryptocurrencies only. Like, people from USA, people from different countries are ready to pay me in cryptocurrency. So they will pay me in cryptocurrency. I can use that cryptocurrency and I can buy any other cryptocurrency, whatever I want. I can buy things from it. Currently, we are not supporting it as a legal tender, but in future when we will be, so I can use that cryptocurrency, right? So definitely we are in on the realm of these banks also. I'm not saying that we can directly just quit these banks. No, currently we cannot do that. But if you have to think as a visionary here that okay, currently we are on the realm of fiat currencies, right? The currency that is issued by the government and the banks. But what if in future, let's say I started my startup, instead of paying my employers in fiat currency, I started paying them in cryptocurrencies. No, I do not need a fiat currency. I do not need a bank then. So this is what we can do, right? Okay. Okay. So let's move on, and let's talk about the greatest innovation of blockchain, and that is Bitcoin. And now you will understand the importance of cryptocurrency. I know when we talk about Bitcoin, we think it as just a cryptocurrency. And again, we have this attitude of who cares? What is cryptocurrency? Who cares whether it is Bitcoin or Ether? We do not care, right? But we will understand why do we need these cryptocurrencies. So, Bitcoin was invented in year 2008 by a person or a group of people, or I don't know, a female can be there also, female, male, whosoever can be there. But this person was using the name of Satoshi Nakamoto. And during that year only, Bitcoin was actually born. And after 2008 only, blockchain got very much popular. Okay. Now, what is Bitcoin? So, Bitcoin is a decentralized digital currency. So, you have to mark these words. It is a decentralized digital currency without a central bank or a single administrator, that can be sent from user to user on the peer to peer Bitcoin network without the need of intermediaries. Now, this is a digital currency which does not require any central authority for it being to generate, like for it being to issued by anyone. You at your home, me at your home, like anyone at their home can start generating their Bitcoin whenever they want. You do not need a bank, you do not need any government, you can do it by your own. So it is totally decentralized. It is a digital currency, means uh, everything will be in a form of a digit, so that you will be seeing on your screen. Like currently, if you are in India, you might be using UPI, so you see these numbers on your screen. In the same way, you will be seeing these numbers on the wallets. Now it is based on peer-to-peer Bitcoin network. I will talk about it. What is this? And it uses blockchain technology. Now, let me tell you one important thing here, that everyone or every company that is using blockchain does not mean that they are decentralized. Using blockchain does not make you decentralized. Blockchain is simply a technology, but you have to use this blockchain technology with the concept of decentralization. If you are just using blockchain in a centralized manner, then this blockchain is not blockchain. It is just like a centralized database, like any other database. Okay. So remember that if some company is pitching you that I'm using blockchain and that's why I'm decentralized, please ask them that are you actually using the concept of decentralization, or you are just saying that blockchain, you are using blockchain, that's why you are decentralized. So remember this thing. Now, what do I mean by peer to peer? So we have two type of architectures. We have client server architecture and a peer to peer architecture. In client server architecture, the data is at the server. So let's say if you're watching a YouTube video, so the video is not in your mobile, right? This video is actually on the YouTube server. You are streaming that video from the YouTube server on your device. So the control of the data is within this, like with this server, right? The server is controlling each and everything, and you are on the realms of this server. So if the server denies you to provide you any kind of data, you cannot do anything because you are a client, right? But in a peer-to-peer network, the data can be shared among each other without a need of any server. Like you are your own server where you can share your data with your friends, with your colleagues, anyone who is on this peer-to-peer network. If you have heard this name torrent, right? So torrent is nothing but a peer-to-peer network where you can share documents, data, whatever you want. Definitely we use torrent for wrong reasons, but torrent is a beautiful technology which is a peer-to-peer network, and this, with the help of this peer-to-peer network, you can share anything with anyone without a need of a central authority, without a need of a server. And this is what Bitcoin uses. So that's why Bitcoin is a peer-to-peer digital currency. Like you do not require any server. There is no server which is issuing you Bitcoin. No, everyone who is connected to this Bitcoin network, and for that you need a software. Once you will install this software, you can start generating your own Bitcoin. Okay. Now again, the same thing, right? Who cares? Why do we need Bitcoin? Everything is going so good with fiat currencies. We are just having this Bitcoin thing. Why, right? So again, let's understand, let's go back to the history. A lot of answers are in the history. So again, it started in USA. USA, I think everything starts in USA, right? I do not know why, but USA, if you think here also that USA is one of the developed countries, one of those countries, like every country wants to become like USA because they are so developed, they have so much technological advancement. But all the bad things actually starts from USA only, I have seen. So USA, if we talk about USA 2008, during the time when Bitcoin was born, USA was in a very bad crisis. And the crisis was so bad that still now we are also seeing the results of this crisis. Now, the USA economy during 2008 was totally down, like it is going negative. It was going negative. There were recession, nearly 9 million people lost their jobs, and 1.8 million small businesses got closed. People were protesting on the roads. Everyone was protesting against the government. Everyone was protesting against the banks. And why they were doing this? They were doing this because all their life savings was gone, wiped out in 2008. People who have their retirement money all got wiped out. People who thought that they can save their money for their child education, it got wiped out. So people were protesting against this particular thing, against the government, against the banks. So people during that time were stressed, hungry, broke. Everything was there during the 2008 crisis. Now the question is why? The answer to this question is banks. Banks were the one who actually brought this situation on USA. See, banks works on a very simple principle. Banks actually lend you some money Okay, once they lend you money, then what you do is you provide some interest on that particular money. Let's say if you have, the banks has, let's say, lend you some 10 rupees, so now you have to pay them 110 rupees, and this 110 rupees, the 10 rupees is their profit. Okay, well, I made a mistake. Let's say they have lent you 100 rupees, and now you have to pay them with 110 rupees. Now this 10 rupees is their profit, and this is how banks work. Now banks during that time, what they started doing is they started providing loans to each and every person who was asking for loans. And why they were doing this? Again, because they were greedy. They thought that if a person is taking loan from us, they will repay us. And if they are not going to repay us, we are simply going to sell their houses, their property, and we will take back our money. So without checking the loans properly, without checking the validity of, without checking the person is able to pay back or not, they started throwing like no loans to everyone. Whether you are a rich, poor, whatever you are, just come to us and I'm going to give you loans. And due to which there was a collapse in the financial market, due to which real estate prices started going down. I'm not going in depth of this particular story. Definitely, I will suggest you to watch a movie for that. But the whole financial market, the real estate market, everything was collapsed. And the bad thing, let me tell you the bad thing. You might be thinking that now the government will punish these banks, right? Now the culprits will be punished because of their stupidity. But no, government was actually providing them with a lot of money so that the banks can bail out. And the banks that were involved during that point of time, the people who were involved during because of which there was a crisis in USA, those people are today one of the prestigious people in the financial market of like in the government office, right? They are in the government office managing the finance of the government. So now they are, means they were getting reward for the collapse of the financial market. And during that time only, and yes, you can watch this movie, The Big Short, one of the greatest movie I will say, where you can see like what actually happened in 2008 and how it was happened because of the stupidity of the banks. So during that time only, people have this thing that how can they trust the government, how can they trust the banks, and that's why during that time only Bitcoin was invented. And this is a good thing for people. Right now you have this alternative. Earlier, as I said, you were totally on the realms of these banks, totally under the on the realms of these government for the finance part. But now you have your own cryptocurrency which you can use in order to buy or sell. Okay, and that's why we need cryptocurrencies today. Cryptocurrencies that are decentralized in nature, not those cryptocurrencies that are centralized in nature. Okay, so do we have any questions for this? So the question is, in a peer-to-peer, if one of the peers stop their system, then one can access that data. Stop their system. I'm not sure what this question is. That if in a peer-to-peer, if one of the peers stop their system, the one can access that data. I think you are saying that what will happen if one of the peers will stop their system, right? So you have to understand peers, why peers will stop their system if they are getting benefit from it. So we are talking about a place where thousands of systems are running. If let's say one of the system drops also, then also their remaining thousands are still running, right? And they will be running because they are getting incentive. Because when they are running the Bitcoin system, right, they are getting incentive in terms of Bitcoin. So yes, that's why I think it will not be a problem. Like you do not have to worry about the peer-to-peer system, right? And you can also start your own Bitcoin node. So you have to simply install a software by the name of Bitcoin Core, and you can simply start with this thing, Bitcoin node. Like you can definitely watch a tutorial on it. I have this on my channel. And if you have this doubt that what if Bitcoin will fail, or let's say not doubt actually, what if Bitcoin is cheating with us, then definitely each and everything, as I said, is available online. Each and everything is open source. You can go, you can refer each and everything that you can see right now, and you can read about it. Like each and everything is totally transparent in nature. The software, the algorithms that are being used, everything is actually provided here. Okay, so you can go and you can, if you are not trusting the Bitcoin, you can definitely read about it. Okay, because Bitcoin is totally based on these algorithms and mathematics always works, right? 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. You cannot say that, okay, 2 plus 2 will be 5 in USA and 6 will be in Switzerland. No, this is how it not works. 2 plus 2 is going to be 4 each and every time. And that's how Bitcoin is working. So we are having a reliable system here. Okay, let's have some questions. Okay, so let's have some question and then we will talk about the roadmap finally. So then, is UPI also uses blockchain? UPI not uses blockchain, Varishitha. UPI is simply a government system that they have invented. It is like a system with the help of which you can do a transaction with your bank money. So you will have some money in your bank, and now you can do a digital transaction using UPI. So they are not using blockchain in any way. You will not be seeing government might be using blockchain in a centralized way. They will not be using blockchain in a decentralized way. Does your YouTube channel provide us with all the resources to become a blockchain developer? If yes, then please give us a roadmap of a step-by-step process to learn blockchain through your YouTube video. Please, I have been searching for such YouTube channel who can tell me what to do step by step. Please answer. So Anshul, for that, I have created this playlist on my YouTube channel, CodeEater YouTube channel, by Blockchain Mastery Path. In that playlist, you will find around 50 or 50 plus videos. All of them are structured in a proper way. So you have to start from the first video and you have to just go on with the flow of with all of these 50 videos. So everything is given in a very structured way. You can refer my channel for that. And today only I have uploaded a video on burn application. So definitely you can watch that as well if you are a web developer already. So yeah. Sir, is metaverse based on blockchain technology? Okay, so let's take this question. I'm seeing this question a lot of time. See, you have to understand. Let me tell you one of the most important thing. Like many of the time, you will be seeing that people will say that blockchain is going to be dead. Blockchain is now no more. Cryptocurrency market is down, and now blockchain will be dead. Blockchain is a technology that you can use not only with artificial intelligence, but you can also use blockchain as a technology in metaverse. Many of you might have seen this Apple Vision Pro, right? Just you have to wear this VR and now you are in a virtual world where you can see each and everything, the digital world around you. Now think like this. You are in a digital world. Currently what you do is you use this mobile, right? You use this mobile in order to watch each and everything, in order to communicate with people. But in the coming future, we are going to have this virtual reality headsets like Apple Vision Pro. We will be using that and we will be living in a digital world. In this digital world, since you are living in this digital world for a longer time, you need to buy a good shirt. You need to buy a good house. You need to buy a good, let's say, furniture. So what do you think? These furnitures, this good house, how they are going to come into the picture? All these things that you are going to see, right, in the coming future, this house, this shirt, the shoes that you are going to wear in this digital world, the metaverse, all of these things will nothing but these things will be NFTs. These things will be non-fungible tokens, and non-fungible tokens are something that are minted on blockchain. So blockchain is used in this way with metaverse. Everything in the digital world will be NFTs and NFTs will be on blockchain. So yes, there is a huge possibility of having blockchain with metaverse. In the same way, blockchain will be used in AI if you want a privacy oriented artificial intelligence. If you want a artificial intelligence who is doing a lot of biased or doing some bad stuffs, in that particular case you will go with this centralized approach. Otherwise you should go for an approach where you are using decentralized artificial intelligence, which we will be seeing again. I have a video on it, you can watch it. Okay, so let's come to the last part of this session, the blockchain developer roadmap, and then we will end this session. Okay, yes, I'm talking about that one, Anshul, the 49 videos, and definitely you should watch all the videos. There are a lot of videos on CodeEater, around 300 plus videos. So let's start with the blockchain developer roadmap. Okay, so Currently, we are here, right? We are at this particular position, and we have to travel this less traveled road, right, through this mountains, and we have to go to this particular peak in order to become a blockchain developer. So, what is the roadmap? So, first of all, we need to understand that there are basically two types of blockchain developers. First one is a blockchain core developer, and another one is blockchain software developer. Now, let's talk about them one by one. Let's talk about blockchain core developer. Now, what is the responsibility of a blockchain core developer? The responsibility of a blockchain core developer is to develop protocols, is to develop blockchains. Now, since you are developing your own blockchain, trust me, it is a difficult part, first of all, and you need to do a lot of things here. First thing, you need to create a blockchain which is working. Second thing, you have to take care of like how blockchain mining will take place. I'm not going into blockchain mining for now. Let it be for now. Just think one of those things that actually happens on blockchain. So you have to take care of that. You need to understand blockchain networking. You need to build a consensus for a blockchain. So all these things as a blockchain core developer, you have to do all these things as a blockchain core developer. Now, in order to do all these things, what things you need to learn as a blockchain core developer? As a blockchain core developer, you need to learn programming languages like Rust, Go, C++, because these are very lightweight programming languages, and with the help of these programming languages, you can create your protocols. Okay. Then you have to understand the networking concept there, because now we have a blockchain. In this blockchain, there will be people connected in your blockchain, right? There will be nodes connecting in your blockchain. So we need to make sure that each and every participant here connected with each other, able to communicate with each other. The data sharing can be possible here. So you need to know the networking concept. You need to understand cryptography. One of the most important thing. Without cryptography, blockchain is nothing, because cryptography is something which is actually providing us with this trust thing. Okay. So you need to learn cryptography, and you need to understand computer architecture, because your software is running like in thousands and thousands of nodes. So you need to understand the architecture, in which memory your data will be stored, or how the computer is going to work. So you need to learn all these things. And I know this seems a little bit complicated, not a little bit, actually it is a complicated thing. But again, the pay scale for the blockchain code developer is also very high, because these are rare species in the blockchain domain. But definitely, as a blockchain code developer, you do not need to master all these things. What you need to do is you need to be a master of one and then jack of others. Like, you have to be good with some of these, and you have to be a master in one of these things. Either it can be cryptography, or it can be a networking thing, or in many of the programming languages in order to develop the protocol. And yes, algorithm and data structures. How can I forget that? Algorithm and data structure. You should understand algorithm and data structure, because you have to do data manipulation in each and everything. So as a blockchain core developer, you need to have this core knowledge. And I know it's a difficult thing. So still, but you have to learn if you want to become a blockchain core developer. And the companies that can hire you as a blockchain core developer are those companies which are actually building their own blockchain, like Neo Blockchain, Solana Blockchain, Chainlink, Alchemy, Infura. So these are the companies either who are working, creating their own blockchain, or who are actually working to provide a solution for a blockchain. Like we discussed about the scalability issue, right? So Chainlink is now providing this interoperability thing currently. So to develop that kind of thing, you need to have good understanding of blockchain. So companies like these will hire blockchain core developers. And if you find blockchain core development to be hard, and trust me, it is hard, so what you can focus is you can focus on blockchain software development. Now, as a blockchain software developer, your responsibility is to create decentralized application. Now, what is a decentralized application? A decentralized application, in simple terms, in layman term, consists of a front end. Then you integrate this front end with a smart contract. What are smart contracts? Smart contracts are simply programs written on the blockchain. So just like you write programs in C, C++, Java, Python, in the same way, you write smart contracts for the blockchain. You integrate these two technologies with each other. Now, once you will integrate these two technologies, what you will have is a decentralized application. And this is your responsibility as a blockchain software developer. That's all these hackathons are all about, that I can see on my screen as well, that you can win 1 million USD once you will create some project. And this is what your responsibility is, just to create a software for it, a decentralized application or anything that can solve the problem of blockchain. Now, to create this front end, right? In order to create this front end, what you need is React.js. You can go for React.js. For creating this smart contract, if I talk about Ethereum as a blockchain, Solidity is one of the most famous programming language with the help of which you can create your own smart contract. Okay. So by using Solidity at the smart contract level and by using React.js at the front end level, you can create your decentralized application. But here is a catch. This front end is a part of a traditional world, right? But this blockchain is a part of a blockchain world. Like this smart contract is a part of a blockchain world. So we need to connect these two different worlds with each other. And how we can connect these two different worlds with each other? We need a bridge. And that bridge is a library. And this library can be any library. It can be web3.js, it can be ether.js, or it can be web3.py. So using this library, you can connect this front end with this smart contract, and now you have a full-fledged decentralized application. You have become a blockchain developer once you have learned these stuffs. Okay. But like blockchain has a lot of problems, right? Like the two major problems in blockchain. First one is that storage is very costly on blockchain. You cannot store everything on blockchain because it will cost you a lot. Second thing is scalability is an issue. We discussed about it, right? One of the person has actually asked the scalability problem, and scalability is actually an issue for the blockchain. So in order to solve this problem of storage, in order to solve this problem of scalability, what companies generally do is they integrate this decentralized application with a server. What they are doing is they are actually balancing the thing. Like what they do is they think, okay, like for example, some data is very private to you, right? So they will store that data on the smart contract on the blockchain. But some of the things that are not that important, or let's say some logic is there that they want to implement, not on the smart contract, because running a logic on smart contract will cost you a huge amount of money. So what they will do is they will take this server, they will build a server, and now on this server they are doing certain amount of tasks. Okay. And definitely if you have a server, you will need a database so that you can store all the important information. And that's why you need to learn all these four things in order to become a blockchain developer, so that you can solve the problem of scalability, you can solve the problem of storage by storing some of the information on database, some of the logic on server, so that you can have a good system here. Now for server, you can go for Node.js, you can go for Python, you can go for Java, whatever you feel. For database, you can either go for a MongoDB, MySQL, means you can go for either a SQL database or no SQL database. It's up to you. But as a blockchain developer, you have to have all these four things inside your pocket. I know it's a very difficult thing to do. You might be thinking, why not to just become a web developer instead of becoming a blockchain developer? I think that will be much easy for me. But trust me, becoming a blockchain developer will give you a lot of salary, I will say, a lot of money. You can easily raise a startup, right? Easily raise a funding based on the blockchain. So that's why a little bit of hard work can pay you good amount of money. But definitely, you do not have to go for each and everything in a parallelly. You have to start one at a time, each and every technology, and then you have to start in that way. So in summary, in a smart contract, to create a smart contract, you can either go for Solidity or you can go for Viper. Viper is not that much used, so I will prefer, like for Ethereum blockchain, I will advise you to go for Solidity. For library, again, web3.js, ether.js, web3.py, according to your choice. Just see that your front end can be connected with your blockchain with any of either of these libraries. For front end, you can go for React.js, AngularJS, Vue.js, whatever you choose. But React.js is one of the most famous ones, so I will advise you to go for that. For backend, Node.js, Java, Python, it's up to you. And for database, whatever you choose. And many of the people think that, okay, if I have to become a blockchain developer. I need to learn web development first. So I should learn these things first, and then I should be learning these things. Now you can opt for that particular way as well. It's up to you. But I will not advise you to do that if you are from a technical background. Because if you are going to do that, right, if you are going to make these things as your primary skill and then you are thinking to go for these things as your secondary skill, the problem with this particular approach is that the competition in this particular thing, in this web development, is very high. Every third person is doing web development, right? You might have seen in your batch also. Every third person is learning web development. So competition is pretty high here, and salary, okay, if you are a exceptional level of web developer, you will be getting good amount of money. But what I will suggest you is to start with this as your primary skill. Start with blockchain as your primary skill. Make this your primary skill. Now, by having this as your primary skill, you have low competition, high demand, hence higher salary, hence higher opportunities as compared to web development. It's up to you, but I'm giving you both the choices. So, according to me, I prioritize things in this particular way. If you are from a technical background, if you are not from a technical background, you are totally a non-technical person, in that particular way, things will change for you. But if you are from a technical background, I will suggest you to go for this particular way. That will be good for you, because once you will learn blockchain, then learn how to integrate this blockchain with the front end, then learn how to use backend with this whole thing, then learn how to use database with all these things. This will be a good step for you to follow if you want to become a successful blockchain developer. Now, which is the best programming language? The best programming language, I think, is JavaScript in this particular case, because JavaScript can be used in front end, can be used in back end, can be used for smart contract testing. We have Mocha framework. Again, we use JavaScript there. We are also using a JavaScript library to connect this front end with blockchain. So again, you need JavaScript. Again, but if you have your own choices, you think, again, I do not want to go for JavaScript, that's up to you. But I'm just telling you that, okay, this will give you much more advantage if you start with JavaScript. Okay. Now, what are the emerging fields in blockchain that we have currently? So DeFi is one of them. NFTs, NFT marketplace, you might have heard this term, NFT marketplace. And when I'm saying NFT marketplace, just do not get limited to NFT marketplace. It can be anything related to NFTs. Okay. And Hyperledger Fabric. If you are a software developer, like if you guys are here and if you are from a software development, like you have experience of 3+ years or 5+ years, for example, in that particular way, in that particular sense, I will advise you to go for Hyperledger Fabric. It is a private blockchain kind of a thing, but it has a huge scope in MNCs. It has a huge scope in banks. It has a huge scope everywhere, every enterprise who are working on supply chain management, healthcare, whatever you say. So as a experienced software developer, you can opt for this as well, because it does not have any programming language preference. You can use any programming language in order to work with Hyperledger Fabric. So I think this is the end for the blockchain developer roadmap. If you have any questions, you can ask, or we can end this session with this. Okay, just last thing. I think the last part of presentation is left, so I want to end by that only. Do not get scammed. Just this want to say to all the students who are joined here. Actually, the thing is, when it comes to blockchain, it is a new technology, right? It is something which is being it is a high in demand. People are want to use it, and resources are very less, due to which I can see that a lot of people are selling the courses in thousands of amount of dollars. Some of these people are actually providing you with these certified blockchain development certificate. Do not go to these scams, because all these things that they are saying, right, trust me, they are not worth it. Instead of it, I think is what Sovereignil covered here, that you should do open source contributions. That how you can learn. You can do internships, you can join hackathons. This is the best way to learn blockchain development. Definitely take courses, but take those courses which are actually worth it, which are worth your money. Instead of paying 1 lakh rupees for a course and becoming to call yourself on LinkedIn as a certified blockchain developer, trust me, it will not worth it in the long term. So just avoid that particular mistake and do explore this beautiful technology. It's a beautiful technology, a technology which can free you from these centralization crutches. Okay.